It was quite the day yesterday. I don't know what to tell y'all, but my man AG is on fire, and I hope y'all took some of those bets because we killed it, and we're gonna hopefully do the same thing tonight. It's Monday Night Football. It's time to get it. AG, how about that weekend, man?
Hey man, look, the record doesn't look great anymore. We had a 27-8 run that we were
Right.
on, which looks beautiful, right? But then
Mhm.
you talk about yesterday going 8-6 in the picks straight up. But even with just the straight up picks going 8-6, a $25 better made $142 in profit. So, it might not look cute anymore, but we're still making money, and that's the name of the game. If
Mhm.
you include the
Mhm.
parlays, you're up another $330. That's two consecutive Sunday $330 winners for a $25 better. So obviously, if you're betting $10 a piece, you're a little lower than that, but you're profitable. You're betting $50 a piece, you might need to Venmo me because I wasn't even doing that, and you did better than me. But nonetheless, in the last 2 weeks, just off of NFL plays, we are up $760 on $25 plays, and that's with every single thing I said on this channel in the past 2 weeks. So that's just NFL too. NBA is another $400. So I mean, we're breaking 1,000 mark in the last 2 weeks. That's the
Mhm.
way to do it. Everybody, you got to get on this because I don't want to do it by myself, man. I'm giving these
What
picks
are you
out for
waiting
free for a
for?
reason. I want
What are you
everybody to
waiting
eat.
for?
Let's all eat free
That's
groceries on
right.
FanDuel,
That's
on BetMGM, on DraftKings, whatever we're using on that day. And yeah, let's get it.
right.
Hit that subscribe button. We're gonna get into Monday Night Football. Try to keep the 2 week streak very hot and stay
let's
profitable. Chad, what are you
let's get
thinking
on
here
it.
in this game?
So I had this one. I had Bengals on this game from the very beginning. I still like the Bengals, even with Jamar Chase being out for this game and actually being out for a few weeks. I think I think the fact that Joe Burrow, I've seen, if you saw the game the last couple of weeks, like the way he is responding, the just his posture, his demeanor on the field is, it kind of reminds me of the way that Curtis Samuel reacted in that Indianapolis game where he's like, "This is my city. This is my city."
Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was McLaurin. It was
but yeah,
McLaurin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It
No,
was
I know what
one of
you're
those
talking
one
about
of
though.
those Redskins receivers. And
Yep.
yes, I'm going to keep calling the Redskins.
Hey, that was
Anyway,
almost another. We were talking pre-show about all the bonehead mistakes, like
oh
Justin
yeah,
Fields jumping over and DJ Moore taking his helmet off for the extra
oh
point that
that
we
one,
move
him
back and then
doing
they
all that,
lose. But that
yeah.
one, Terry McLaurin, I mean, I was surprised. I was waiting for the flag the whole
For the
time
flag,
on that.
yeah.
You know
He
what I
was
mean? I
he
was
was a
waiting,
little he did
but
it a little bit differently, but yeah, it was
but
kind
it
of,
was,
it's like,
it
ooh,
was borderline.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
bugging out a little bit.
They
But
did call a
continue. Sorry, I
timeout
just
though.
wanted to
They
mention
did
that.
call a timeout. So that was,
That was the
when you
difference.
call
Yeah.
when you
Okay.
call a timeout, you
You
can,
can do whatever you want after that. Yeah.
you can take your
Yep.
helmet
Yep. Yep.
off, can come over to the sideline, drink some water,
Yep. Do
whatever.
whatever you got to do at that
Talk
point.
shit, I guess.
Yep.
Because he wasn't talking directly to any of the players. But anyway,
Yeah.
my point being, that's the kind of attitude that I've seen in Joe Burrow. Like, you see this determination in his eyes and that like killer instinct. And we've talked about it before. That first game of the season with Seattle playing at home with Geno Smith. Now look at Geno Smith, man! Holy cow, who knew? But
Yeah.
that Denver game, we called it back then. That,
Mhm.
be careful of these home dogs on these primetime matchups, especially if it's like a place like the Dog Pound. Some of these places that are famous for the type of environment that they create. I just can't bring myself to go against this Bengals team, though. Even without Jamar Chase, I love this matchup for the Bengals, and so and my model has them, like, I think, favored by like 6 or 7 points. So I'm taking the -3.5 here if I'm taking anything on this one, and I I don't want to play that over under because, like we saw yesterday, I like the Saints against the Raiders. I wasn't sure about that over under. I could have
Mhm.
sworn there were going to be more points scored than that. I
Me
did
too.
not. I did not have the Raiders getting blanked on my bingo card anywhere. I looked. I had like 8 bingo cards. It wasn't on any of them. So you know how those people do that. You got
Sure
the old
wasn't.
people. You got the
Yep.
old people at the bingo thing where they got like
Yep.
8 cards out there. They're sitting there sponge dotting each one of them.
That wasn't on the board,
That
man.
wasn't
That
on
was
the
not on
board
the board.
anywhere. No,
Yep.
it wasn't anywhere.
That wasn't
So
even in the free spot. Nothing. But
yeah, so that's what I like for this one. But I know you got some props, and I'm ready to get into it whenever you are. What do
yeah.
you
So
like
to
sidewise on this one, if anything?
well, to your point. So I like the Bengals. In general. Heinz or blindly looking at it, it's the
Hmm.
Bengals all the way. The way these two teams have been playing lately. And I like you do not want to fade Joe Burrow right now. I mean, he's balling out. What I was gonna say prior to you telling me what your model has been favored as, which, by the way, I'm giving this some value here because this
Mm-hmm.
model has been successful. We'll unleash that on you
Mm-hmm.
fully later in the week. But as a little tease, like it's been killing. Like these numbers straight up and against the spread for dogs and
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, you're not finding a better model that I've seen
Yeah.
so far.
I'll say
This
this.
thing's
I
working.
only went 3-3 yesterday, so I'm gonna take my L's when they come. And actually, like I think I went 1-3 the last 4 games.
But if we count college
yesterday.
too, like I'm talking about just the overall scope of like
Oh
the
yeah,
model's
the model
efficiency,
the
you know
model
what I mean?
itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Week
But-
by week basis, it might not be fantastic every week, but it's
Right.
prolonged.
Well-
It's going to be a profitable one. You
right.
can tell
Well,
already.
what I was going to say is though, like if you look at that 3-3 record in the NFL yesterday, those were all underdogs straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Underdogs straight up went 3-3. So if you're playing the money line on all of these,
You're profitable.
You're profitable because every one of those underdogs was big plus money, and you're only having to put 1 unit at stake instead of minus 1.1, minus 1.15, or anything like that. If you lose, you're only losing 1 unit, not more than a unit. And if you win, you're winning a unit and a half on a lot like
Yeah, you keep it simple, keep it the same wager for all 6 of them. You're ending on top. But what I was gonna get at is that I like it a little less at 3.5. You talked about going to the dog pound at prime time Monday night. I mean, I love it at -3. So if I can get a situation where maybe I'm building the same game parlay or something like that, and I might take the alternate spread at -2.5 or -3, so I could at least push at a field goal. But then when you said that your model has them favored 6.5, I mean, I'm looking at it like it's either all right, I might as well go for it instead of buying that extra point or point and a half.
Let me
or
make
just
sure.
Stay away. You know what I mean?
Actually, it's -8.5 is what it had.
Yeah, see, even
but
better.
That's with Jamar Chase though. Like that the model is using the
100%.
data
It's not
coming
using
in
the injury.
and right. So you have to take a little bit of a hit for a major injury like that because that's a big one. That's not just some nickel corner being out. This is Jamar Chase.
Well, that brings me to my next point of Denzel Ward is also out for the Browns.
Right.
And the Bengals, they do have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst coming on at the tight end position. Mike Williams is a serviceable slot guy. If you got to throw him out there as a number 3, that's that's serviceable. If you ask me, he can do some damage if Joe Burrow puts him in the right spots. But so I look at the Jamar Chase injury as obviously it's going to hinder the offense a little bit, but I think they're going to be flowing just fine. I don't think it's going to be some kind of situation where it's like Mike Evans missing on the Bucs right now, or or Devontae Adams missing on the Packers, as we can see how that's working out. But so I'm not too worried about that, but I do think this is a reason that we key in on Tyler Boyd. So let's get into the props now. I got Tyler Boyd for actually 2 of these right now.
Okay.
These are the best bets you're getting on this one is MGM, but on FanDuel it's still pretty good. So we can look at it on FanDuel. Tyler Boyd for over 5.5 catches at +116 on FanDuel. I locked it in at +120 on BetMGM, but I mean, you're not getting, if you don't have a BetMGM account, FanDuel's not a bad option there at
+116 is not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. DraftKings is +100, but BetMGM, if you have that, that's where you're getting the best bang for your buck at +120. But I like this. I mean, he's had 6 and 8 in his last 2 games. Obviously no Jamar Chase and Browns, no Denzel Ward, like we just mentioned. There's probably going to be a lot of focus on T. Higgins downfield and things like that. So I'm looking for Tyler Boyd. I mean, Tyler Boyd was that guy anyway that's sneaking away when you're focusing on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Sometimes you're not paying attention to Tyler Boyd and he's going to sneak by for a 60-yard touchdown, things like that. I could see that happening even with him being the number 2 guy. And he's coming off a monster game, 8 catches for 155 yards and a touchdown. We know Joe Burrow likes him.
Yeah, does that fade him any to you that you're gonna either regression or just now the defense is gonna be maybe keying on it a little bit more, especially with Chase out of the lineup, or do you say no? You know what? There's some chemistry there. Let's ride this momentum.
There's chemistry there, and I think that we're given room for regression anyway. I'm not picking him to get 100 yards and 8 catches again. So 6 catches is it's already moving down a little bit, and we got to account for Jamar Chase not having his catches. And we're getting to that plus money. If this was over 5.5 for -110, I'm probably not taking it, at least not one of the top picks that I'm backing. But at plus money, and we can have a little bit of regression, and their top guy is out, I like him to at least get the targets and catches. I don't know how successful they'll be getting yards, But hopefully they break one of these because my next play actually has to do with him and yards.
All right.
So I don't know. Is that all you had on that one though? Like I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good.
I think I like it. I like it. I just wanted to ask the question. I got to push back because
No, 100%.
when we go 3-3 with my model or 8-6 with the other, it's always good to ask these questions because then that way you can maybe see some of the windows into this. But again, this goes
100%.
back to when you're getting plus money. I tend with the record that we've had on this show of predicting some of this stuff with great success. I tend to lean towards those plus money plays because the more of those you stack up, if you're making that same bet for all of them, and you're not, I caution people because I know it's tempting. It was tempting to go heavy on that Derrick Henry thing yesterday. Even if you did, it paid off for you. But man, if you went heavy on something similar with, I don't know, Saquon Barkley or one of the Kenneth Walker, if you hit that real heavy, man, it's especially the yardage on those two guys. They each got a shot at a touchdown. But
they each had a touchdown, but 50 yards only instead. We should have did that bet instead of 100. Right. But I will say, I mean, I counted it against the record. I counted it against the money. So, I didn't do anything unfair there. But at noon, FanDuel ran the same parlay that we ran.
And we warned y'all
as one of their, their promo parlays or whatever that they do. And if that bet hit at 12 o'clock with the amount of people that they said took the bet at 12 o'clock, that bet hit, they were out $62,000. If obviously more people took it by 4 o'clock game time. So, there was no way that was hitting. But we warned everybody as soon as we got off air. We were like, sorry, we didn't check FanDuel's promo and they're running the same parlay. This shit ain't hitting. But I still counted it because we did mention it on the show. So anybody who didn't get a chance to see our tweets about it after the show, I didn't want to be unfair to that. So we counted it. But you got to follow us on Twitter.
If that's the case, though, look, our damn Twitter bios are on the screen. Where the hell are they? What?
Yeah, go. I got next.
Huh?
You got to click the.
No, that's not. No, it's not showing up. For some
I don't
reason.
know where they went. That's funny.
That's bizarre. Well,
anywho,
normally
it's in the description box either way.
Normally, our shit is on the screen.
That's funny.
It might be because we're not.
It usually is there, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're recording this one, so maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. That's not.
They're in the description, so go down there. All right, let's continue. Us. So, what you got yardage wise on Mr. Boyd?
Yeah, well, I was also going to say I do think that even though there's the case of more attention being on him coming off a big game and Jamar Chase being out, T. Higgins is still, everybody knows what T. Higgins can do. So, I mean, this is one of those where I'm pretty much choosing one out of the other. If T. Higgins is the guy tonight, I'm sorry, guys, but if you faded me, then you win on that. So pick who you like better between Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. T. Higgins was getting the same receptions number, but at minus money. And when it's a toss-up like that, I'm going for the plus money every time. If it loses, it loses, but we're going to win. We're going to end up profitable by the end of it. So, but yardage-wise, I do think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are both really good and good enough to destroy this secondary with Joe Burrow passing to them anyway. So not too worried either way. This one, Tyler Boyd, over 23.5 for his longest catch. It's minus 111 on Caesar Sportsbook is the best number you're getting, but you're getting minus 114 on FanDuel and minus 115 on DraftKings as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's had 21 plus as his longest catch in 5 out of 7. Now, I know that doesn't hit this 24 mark that we need right now, but 21 plus in 5 out of 7, I'll take him, falling forward, breaking one extra little bit of a tackle for another 3 yards in a couple of those plays. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take my chances on that. And he's had 56, 43, and 60. Those were the games he hit. So we know when he's hitting this, he's hitting downfield by a long shot. Usually it's like over 24.5 in air yards alone. So we don't even need him to really break tackles or anything. Tyler Boyd gets those deep balls. He's good for one usually. I like it here against this Browns secondary, who is a little hurt, banged up. And Burrow has hit this bet in 6 out of 7. Like his longest pass has been over 23.5 in 6 out of 7 games. Now his was set at like 38.5. So I went away from that just because I was like, I don't know.
That's a big number.
It's a pretty big number, but we do pretty well hitting on these.
Mm-hmm.
On these longest catches, longest
hey,
rushes,
we did it yesterday. Tua. Shout out to Tua and
that was a 37, 38 yarder.
38.5.
Same that we're talking about. Yeah, so same thing we're talking about here. But I went with Tyler Boyd Tyler Boyd because it's a little bit of a lower number, but this is another one where it's just a matter of if T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd get the long ball tonight. So
yeah, and I'll say, like, to
it could
your
be a
point,
T. Higgins 60-yard touchdown, and we end up wrong on this. Is what it is. But I'm taking my chance on that. I'm picking one.
Yeah, and the difference between that and the Tua, making that choice easier with Tua is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were both healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if Jamar Chase was playing, I might lean a little heavier towards that 38.5 for Burrow.
George Burrow, yeah.
You take one of those weapons away who's capable of that 60+ yarder, and if I'm Cleveland, I'm playing a lot of deep cover 2 type stuff to make it to where it's a little harder to get that big play.
And
but
they
Burrow
like using
will still exploit it
for this.
Yep. Yeah.
They like using him for those crosser routes where he's getting downfield as he's crossing things, the drags and whatnot. But the middle of the field drags, they love
great
going
for
to him
25 yards.
Exactly,
great for 25 yards, not so much for 40. So
exactly. Yep. That's exactly how I was thinking. And as you can see, this is the Bengals show today. We're leaning the Bengals all the way around. I did go and look for Nick Chubb longest rush because that's one that we love going to that hits all the time for us.
Right.
But it was not up on any books, so I think the books are getting tired of getting beat on that.
Oh yeah, they are.
Nick Chubb, right?
Dang.
Yep, they're getting tired of getting beat on that. So it's all good. We'll give them a week off on that. We'll let them keep their money this time since they're not giving us any chance here. But I am going to go with Joe Burrow still. Joe Burrow over 34.5 passing attempts. Now, Chad, in the beginning when you were saying that the Bengals have figured it out a little bit offensively, they're looking a lot better lately. That's because they went away from being a run-first team. They're putting the ball back in Joe Burrow's hands, letting him sling the rock. And that because in the last 3 weeks, he's had 35 attempts, 37 attempts, 42 attempts, compared to it was like 31, 33, that range. He's hit this in 6 out of 7 this year. In 3 career games versus the Browns, he has 61 attempts, 47 attempts, and 40 attempts. So I don't know what it is, but it's something about these coaches against the Browns where they're calling Joe Burrow's number. They're letting him sling cheese. So I'm going to bet on that again. The reason I'm taking this now, we're on FanDuel right now where we're showing you where it's saying minus 114. On DraftKings, it's minus 105. But this bet is one that you go to BetMGM for. They have it at plus 100. So we're loving that value there. So we're going to go to BetMGM on that, plus 100. The Browns defense, 15th in passing yards allowed. The Bengals are 5th in passing yards. And that's only getting better for the Bengals lately. I know Jamar Chase is out, but I think they still sling the cheese. And we just need attempts. We don't need completions. We don't need them to have success. We just need them to go to that. They have no run game. They're 30th in the league in running. Even though the Browns rush defense isn't great, they're like 25th in stopping the run. That doesn't necessarily mean that the Bengals are just going to start ground and pounding again with little to no success. Joe Mixon, the offensive line, has not been able to get a run push lately all year. So I'm taking their pass attempts. I think they're going to have to resort to it at some point, especially in these nitty-gritty divisional games where, as much as we like the Bengals here, we know it's going to be a semi-close game at least. Yeah, we got to assume. So,
well, and I think too with the pass rush that the Browns try to generate, I think if the Bengals even are a little bit successful in the run game early, I think that actually makes it to where it opens up the pass game even more, because now you've got to bring that safety down, or you've got to have that linebacker just kind of take that extra half second to check to make sure, and play action will be more effective, and that opens it up.
And that's why we didn't. And that's why we're not necessarily taking a look at the completions line. We're looking at attempts, because if that pressure's getting there and he has to throw the rock away, add one to the tally. We're moving on up. On our way to some money.
Complete or not, it don't matter. Yeah.
Yep, don't matter to me.
That's right.
My last play. Now this one is the fun one, the fun risky one. So all the other plays that I've mentioned, those are 1 unit plays. Everything I say when I'm backing a pick, it's a 1 unit play standard. We've been promoting our 1 unit as $25, just saying, hey, a $25 better made this much for just to keep a record, keep his stats, and actually prove some success here instead of just throwing out picks and losing everybody money. You know what I mean? So we're working on actually being organized and successful in that. But I do want to mention that this is not Oh,
A
full
full
unit
unit.
play. This is a first touchdown scorer play. This is a play where you throw some sprinkle on it. You know what I mean? Some pizza money, as John Ryan would say. Now I know you're getting pizzas for about $25, what we're putting our regular unit as, but you
Hey,
get
look,
what I'm
man, they
saying.
got the
You can get
Papa
a topping
John's.
with this one.
They got the Papa John's Papa's pairings, two
Yep.
pizzas for $6.99 a piece. So you can throw $7 on this one, and
Exactly.
and you're still spending pizza money.
Here's where we're going with this one. We got Kareem Hunt for the first touchdown. Plus
Really?
1,400 on FanDuel and plus 1,400 on DraftKings. So either one.
That's a really good look, AG. I like it because for whatever reason, like Nick Chubb is the one who breaks off like the 20-yarder for a touchdown. But when they get into the red zone, they get inside the 5, they always seem to just run Kareem Hunt out there. Now
you know
Chubb will get his red zone carries, but it's usually Kareem Hunt.
Well, that's because that keeps them they're able to stay two-dimensional, and the defense can't just sell out on Nick Chubb going up the middle because Kareem Hunt's going to break out for a touchdown catch also on the 6-yard line, you know. So in the flat. So that's why they go to him. That's why I'm taking him. I'm hoping here. And the other reason, the Bengals, so this first quarter, it looks like there might be some scoring in this first quarter, but so the Bengals are third in first quarter scoring. So it's like, oh, maybe they'll score first, but not so fast. You got the Browns fifth on defense in first quarter points allowed. So they also play well in the first quarter defensively. The Browns are a first half team. If you think about it, they've been losing games in the second half. And the Browns, they're also sixth in scoring in the first quarter. So they get out ahead, but the Bengals defense is 30th in first quarter points allowed. So the Bengals are a comeback team. The Browns are a start ahead team. So that's why I'm going Kareem Hunt, especially at those odds. Now, obviously, I could have took Nick Chubb at plus 600. I mean, that might hit instead of Kareem Hunt. We might get fucked on that, but it's a half unit play. It's a long shot. It's let's make some bank. If that hits, we don't even have to worry about the rest of the plays. The rest of the plays are just icing on the cake. And if you want to hedge a little bit, you're still getting a solid number on him to score a touchdown in general. So if you want to do half unit on first touchdown and then another half unit to complete your full unit play there, if you want to put the other half on an anytime touchdown for Kareem Hunt, you're still getting plus 240 on that on FanDuel, plus 220 on DraftKings. So that's what I'm going to do.
I like it.
Because then if he does get the first touchdown, you're cashing both at once. You know, if he doesn't get the first touchdown, you still got the rest of the game to be rooting for him to score a touchdown. You're still going to be profitable even if you only win one of those. So I like that.
Yeah, that's folks, listen. I don't care where you go, you're not going to get anyone breaking it down with that much in-depth analysis that goes into a pick and why we're taking a swing at this plus 1,400 bet, because those odds are crazy, but I like the case that AG made for this thing actually hitting. And this goes back to, if you keep doing this and you just keep plugging along, and I know we've been talking about like $25 bettors, but that's why it's very important we bring up whenever we do some of these long shot, either big parlays or anything like that. These are not full unit recommendations. These are half or quarter unit type of recommendations. And in this case, maybe a $5 or $7, maybe $10 throw down on this if you're a normal $25 bettor.
Exactly. So we're going to try to
take these shots judiciously.
Yeah. So we're to Chad's point, we're going to try to be better with that of like telling you what we're picking, because like these are things that we're overlooking because we know how we're going to manage our bankroll already as we're looking at these plays. Like, as I'm going through the plays yesterday, I know damn well that I'm putting more money on let's throw me a random play that we hit on
one of those field goal plays that we had yesterday.
I'm putting more money on Alvin Kamara getting 103 rushing and receiving yards than I am on Derrick Henry to get 150 rushing yards and two touchdowns. But I am going to still throw money on Derrick Henry to touch it. But on the show yesterday, all we're doing is going through picks. So I got to be careful about like telling you guys like, hey, look, all these parlays, I'm not throwing full units at these. These are like long shots. Like we're taking a chance. I mean, that 1776 America touchdown parlay was just Jonathan Taylor away. He got stuffed on the goal line. We would have been up $1,000 on the day if that was the case. But it is what it is. We'll take 330. We'll take it to the bank. We didn't lose. We haven't lost in weeks.
Listen,
I'm not even sure we ever lost. We just weren't tracking it as carefully.
Right. But listen. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was not ready to put $20 on that Derrick Henry. I found it on BetMGM. It was 134.5. The only way I could do a same game parlay, I had to use their alternate rushing yards, and they didn't have the 150. So anyway, it was 134.5 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and it was I don't even remember what the number was, but it was, and I had a $20 free bet. So I was like, all right, what the hell? So I threw the $20 free bet on that because I was like, there's nothing I feel. That's why I was so mad for the contest that I didn't throw that shit down in there, because just like 125 and 1 touchdown would have been the perfect odds number, and I would have hit and I would have won. Maybe I wouldn't have won, but I would have at least finished second in the contest. I did not. I finished 4th, so I did not cash in that contest. But no, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, there's nothing I feel better about putting this free bet on, because it expired. I think it was going to expire either today or yesterday or something like that. So I was like,
I would have put
use it or lose it.
I would have put 200 if FanDuel was giving me that option. That's what I originally was going for. Like when I was,
if I had a $200 free bet, it would have been in there too. Yes.
When I went in to build it, I went for 2 touchdowns, and then I was scrolling. I'm like, where's 200? Mm-hmm. Oh, they don't have 200. I'm like, only 150. All right, fine. I'll take 150. That 200 would have hit too. We would have cashed out, but it's all good.
I think they know better. I think they know better though than to give you the odds that they would have to give you to make that worth it. Yeah. Because
they should have never gave me that for 150. That was
the 150
too easy.
Was a bad bet too for them.
It was like the end of the first quarter. He had 104 and a touchdown. I was like, all right, I'm going to go take a nap and wake up to some money here. Sounds good to me. But yes, yeah, that's our Monday night show. If you just got in here late, make sure you go back and watch the rest of the episode. Hit that subscribe button. Me and Chad are going to be back later tonight as well with a look ahead to Week 9. That's right. We're getting right down to it. Week 8's not even over. We're going to give you some thoughts on Week 9, where to put your money early, things like that. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter. The links are in the description box. And follow us on TikTok too at Men of Order Media. If you're on TikTok, we won our only TikTok parlay of the day yesterday. That cashed for us. So we're making banks in all avenues. So make sure you're getting tapped in with us. All right.
Word.
Peace,
y'all.